So in this video, we're going to talk about the good, bad, and ugly realities of selling mobile homes. If you're in the real estate business already, you know from watching the TV shows about house flippers or real estate agents that a lot of times the industry in real estate can be completely glamorized into something that it's really not, or they just show the highlights, they don't show the lowlights, right? So in mobile homes, I want to tell you the real so that you can, see the reality. They say the grass is always greener on the other side until you get over there and you figure out the reason it's so green is because there's all the crap over there, right? So I want to let you know about the crap over here so that you can just come in eyes wide open and not step on the crap, so to speak, right? So what would I start by saying? I'd start by saying if you go online and you look on YouTube, you'll see a lot of just average Joes marketing how much money they're making selling these mobile homes, right? And you got to kind of scratch your head and think, is that real, or is this just another one of those internet hype things that's full of BS, right? And I can't vouch for all those people, how much money they're actually making and are they showing the true profit after expenses. But what I can tell you is our company has been doing this for over 2 decades. I've created a series of videos showing actual mobile home deals that we flipped, and you can see a breakdown of what we bought it for, what we invested into it, and ultimately what our profit was. So I can tell you for us, firsthand experience, we've been making profits as much or more that you're seeing from those other individuals. So it is true, the grass is green, so to speak. But what are they not talking to you about? So I want to talk to you about that, right? Because if you're already in the business of house flipping and you know what real estate is right now, the inventory mostly overpriced in most markets, right? Hyper competitive in most markets. There's tons of real estate agents. There's tons of average individuals trying to get rental properties or do house flips. There's real estate investment trusts coming in to scoop up a bunch of single family homes. There's Zillow trying to disrupt the market. There's a ton of other investors like you who are doing house flips. So it's saturated. And that's why maybe you're watching this video thinking, is there something different you can do, right? And I think mobile homes is a very close cousin to real estate. And if you know real estate, then you're going to do very well in mobile homes. But there is a learning curve and it's not identical. One of the things that I see is a lot of real estate professionals look at mobile homes. The ones who are, kind of thinking outside the box think, I'm going to get into that. They jump into it thinking, well, if I can do real estate, I can do mobile homes. And they stumble their way into a couple of these deals and then realize, oh, this is not what I thought it was. And then they exit the market. In fact, that's one of the reasons we created our franchise company, because we have learned all the little places where the poop is in the industry and how to avoid those things and navigate those things, right? So we have standard operating procedures. We have a CRM dedicated to the mobile home space. We have a way to handle relationships with mobile home communities so that we have a close relationship instead of a hostile relationship, right? We know who our target demographic is, so we don't waste time chasing people who we know aren't going to be likely candidates to buy our homes. We know which type of homes to buy, so we know which ones will sell easier than others, right? So when you come in the market just kind of with an arrogant mentality of, oh, I do real estate, so I know mobile homes, you have all kinds of things to learn that you don't even know about yet, right? So what I see is real estate agents or real estate investors, they'll dabble and then they'll get out. And then they think to themselves and they tell other people, don't go over there, there's a lot of poop in that grass, right? And so one of my points here is I want to point out, yeah, there is some poop over here. And what is some of that poop? I would say number one is the industry in most markets is less organized than real estate, right? And you're dealing with less professional people. That can be kind of annoying sometimes, but it's a gift and a curse because on the other hand, if you're professional and you're on your game, you can come in and dominate, right? And the other thing is some of the competition you're dealing with. Sometimes they do some underhanded things to try to get the deal from underneath you. That happens in real estate too, if we're honest, but mobile homes, it's kind of a little bit of the wild, wild west. But what I found is if you operate as a professional in this space, you always rise to the top. So I think that even though there's a lack of professionalism in the industry, the gift of that is if you're a professional, you're going to dominate in this market. The other thing that's kind of hard for real estate agents to wrap their mind around is how much control the mobile home communities exert over the communities, right? Imagine that you owned a real estate property, a mobile home park, and you were collecting rent from all these different, tenants, and then you started having real estate agents come in, and they started kind of interfering with maybe the way that you wanted things done. That might make you want to push out real estate agents, and that happens a lot in this space. So one thing I would say is when you first get in this industry and you maybe go into the office where the managers are working and you say, hey, I'm a real estate investor and I want to buy some mobile homes in here. Usually you're going to get a bit of a guarded, cold shoulder at first in most mobile home parks. Why is that? They've seen hundreds of people like you come and go, right? And what they secretly tell me behind the scenes is, Ben, we don't want these guys coming in who have no idea how the industry works and how we work in our community, coming in here thinking that they're gonna, bring their real estate stuff into what we do. And oftentimes real estate investors or agents aren't willing to mold themselves to the mobile home community and the industry itself, and they want to come in as kind of the superior, I'm a licensed real estate agent. And so that's a big turnoff. And they've had so many interactions with previous people to you that they just don't want you working in there. So one of the things that I would recommend is you have to be humble, and you have to come in with an, curiosity to understand how their community actually functions. That's another thing I'd point out. There's no one way that the industry works. Some communities, there are rules, there's general regulations, but certain communities just have different application processes, right? Or different ways to pay lot rent, or different levels of enforcement of, community management of how they want things maintained. So you have to get to know each and every one of these communities. And that can be a little bit of a pain because you might work in one community and they want things done one way. Then you work in a different community and they want things done a completely different way. And as a real estate agent, you might pull your hair out thinking, why is it so chaotic or not, organized? But maybe you're not one of those, type A personality peoples and you can just go with the flow. I would say you need to learn how to go with the flow. You need to learn to be adaptable. And that's one of the benefits of focusing on maybe 5 to 10 mobile home communities. You can really learn those communities, what they want, and adapt yourself to those particular communities. The other thing, financing is a little bit different. Homeowners insurance is a little bit different. You need to get a lender that specializes in manufactured homes. If you go to your conventional lender and say, hey, I got this person, they want to buy this mobile home in a mobile home community, your conventional lender is going to waste your time. They're going to tell you, oh, I can do that. And then they're going to waste 2 weeks and then find out, oh, my lenders, they don't do that. That's considered a chattel mortgage. You're going to have to find another lender. So knowing those little pieces, who do you go to for homeowners insurance? Does Geico do mobile homes? Does, State Farm? So you need to know those little details, and that learning curve can be a bit of a pain for a lot of real estate investors. So again, as our franchise, we've done all that. We know who the insurance companies are, who the lenders are. We know who owns most of these mobile home communities. A lot of times, these communities are owned at a high level by real estate investment trust, right? So if you can get in with one and build relationships higher up, some of these communities are nationwide, owned by nationwide REITs. So working your way up into those relationships, which our company has done here at Founding Fathers, that's an important thing. So those would be the main things that I would say you want to be aware of, right? The other thing, there's not a lot of contractors that specialize in mobile homes, right? So you might have some contractors who are like, I don't touch mobile homes, I don't know them. So that can kind of limit who you're willing to work with as a contractor. But what I found is if they're a good contractor and they know construction, they can do anything. And so when you find those guys, usually they're kind of the old timers who've been around the block and know a thing or two. You want to work with those guys. But I would say sometimes it's harder to find contractors that specialize exclusively in mobile homes. So we have a whole course on this in our franchise about how do you find the right contractors? How do you build your contractor roster of team of people that you want to work with who know mobile homes, right? So other than that, it's very similar to real estate. There's little nuances and things of that nature which we teach in other videos, but in a nutshell, I would say the hype is real. There is opportunity in fixing, flipping, and making money with mobile homes. One of the turnoffs, one last thing I guess I would say, is most mobile home communities do not allow rental properties, which means they don't want you to buy the property, fix it up, and then rent it out. They want homeowners living in these communities. So the workaround with that, if you've seen my other videos, is to become a lender. So you buy the home, you fix it up, instead of renting it, you owner finance it. It's very similar to a rental. You're getting a down payment, but it's not a deposit, so you don't have to return it. It's a down payment. You recoup some of your investment costs, and then you're getting monthly payments, just like a rental property. What's the difference? Well, it doesn't appreciate like real estate, right? But you do get some amazing cash flow, and you don't have to deal with the maintenance and management like you do on a rental property. It's different, but it also is very beneficial. So if you're like us, you're gonna get these, fix them, owner finance them, build a portfolio, and now you have passive income without the headaches of being a landlord. It's beneficial, but you need to know what you're doing. If you do that just yourself, on the back of a napkin, tell them, I'll owner finance you, sign this agreement, you're going to be violating all kinds of laws that are in place. So you have to have a licensed mortgage loan originator, create the documents, and there's certain disclosures that have to be made. So that's another thing we teach you at our franchise, how to do that properly. So even though you might be a amazing real estate investor or broker, there's a huge learning curve that we can help shorten. And if you're interested in getting into this market, I highly encourage you to start by educating yourself about this market. And that's why I'm creating all these videos, to help educate you so you know what you don't know, right? And then if you really want to get into this market and get a shortcut, consider our franchise. I have a free webinar on our website. It's mobilehomefranchise.com. I created a webinar on there to explain the industry, explain the opportunity, and see if maybe partnering up with us might help you succeed in your business. If you're interested in that, check out the website. I hope this video was helpful. I have a ton of other videos with more details on different nuances, but this was the big picture I wanted to get across, and I hope it was helpful.